3-0 Harston. And now it's time to decide who's going to go through as first place, and we'll be seeing tomorrow in tomorrow's action.
I'm so incredibly
Very excited for this, of course.
I mean, first of all, I have personal interest in here. I'm not going to deny it. Obviously, can't really hide it. But TaeJa has been.
Who do you think is going to win?
I think TaeJa. I mean,
who do you hope's going to win?
TaeJa. I mean, but let's be objective here. Look at what TaeJa has been doing lately. He's not losing anything anymore. He just doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to lose. He loses his entire army. Okay, I'm just going to win the game 20 minutes later.
Yeah, it's true. TaeJa is a fantastic player, if not one of the best players on the planet right now. In StarCraft 2, he was unleashed within Team Liquid. Took him a while to get into rhythm, especially at live events. And then all of a sudden, it clicked. And he went on a winning streak.
Yeah. He's like an unstoppable train now, like the bus in speed. He can't slow down anymore, else he would explode. As soon as TaeJa loses game, the event is just going to go nuclear. So let's hope TaeJa is going to take it, at least from my perspective. But EG.IdrA has been doing much better lately again too. He's playing great.
Remember, EG.IdrA did beat MKP on the IPL Team Arena, which opened up a lot of discussions. Is EG.IdrA back? Is he back? Because, to be honest, he's been out the spotlight quite a while. He's had some time to get into his own rhythm of playing once again. But now he has to go up against probably the most difficult opponent here.
Yeah.
But can EG.IdrA do it?
Beating MKP is like what always gets you out there again. I had the same. I beat him at IPL Team Arena. It's always good for you as a player. So good on you, Craig. I'm happy he's doing well. Actually, I like EG.IdrA a lot. So I hope he goes through the group too, maybe. But let's be unbiased here, and it doesn't really matter. You're here to analyze the games, and I don't care who's winning or losing. As a caster right now, I just want to see good games.
All right, so sorry. Yeah. You can keep going.
I just want to see
how TaeJa's going to win.
No, I just want to see good games. I want people to play beautiful, and I think you're going to see that. I think TaeJa versus EG.IdrA is going to be a 6 series.
All right, so let's get it underway and start the game now. Of course, you are in control once again, so go ahead and do that. The map pool, vetoes, of course, we'll talk about briefly here as we load in. EG.IdrA, vetoes Antigua Shipyard. TaeJa, vetoes Daybreak, if I'm not mistaken. Map number 1 is going to be Ohana, which is a great starting map here, and we'll discuss the rest of the map pool in a second. But Ohana, a starting map between these two guys. Like it?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not entirely sure about Ohana yet. It's so hard for Zerg to get a 4th and 5th up.
Yeah.
Because then Terran can just kind of attack both sides at once. And then
that's the real difficult part of this game. So if it goes past mid-game and goes to late, EG.IdrA could be in trouble a little bit against this player. So let's go ahead and load into the game now. We are ready. Let's begin, of course. In the bottom right, we have a guy that seems unstoppable. The last time he met EG.IdrA, he 4-0'd EG.IdrA in the ESV show match. It is, of course, Liquid.TaeJa.
And on the top, we do have Craig spawning as the Zerg. Looking good lately. Looking buff, like all the EG players, actually.
Always looking buff.
I know. They are in great shape in EG over there. And something a lot of other teams are looking up to. Could copy EG. They are getting in shape. It's really good and important to be in good physical shape for StarCraft 2 as well. People wouldn't think it, but it can give you the slight 1% edge advantage at some point that makes you win a tournament rather than losing in the first round.
And just to go over the map pool before this does start off, and I do see the barracks, and the map pool, Ohana, Entombed, Atlantis, Cloud, Metropolis, a nice all-round map pool for both of these guys, but now we do have a proxy barracks here. TaeJa knowing exactly how EG.IdrA plays. I don't think there's a guy on the planet that knows how EG.IdrA plays, but I was going to bring up this point secondary. EG.IdrA recently is becoming a safe, and I have to express how safe. He drone scouts every game and he spots this immediately, and this is a massive, massive beginning and a start for EG.IdrA in this best-of-5 series.
TaeJa reacting very quickly, immediately taking off one of the SCVs to attack the drone. He's gonna switch it around now, continue building with the damaged SCV, but he has to be careful. It's almost down, but now the first barracks finishes. The SCV is gonna be able to repel that. And the drone scout is good, but it also delays your pool a little bit. You know what's coming, but your defense is also going to be a little bit later.
Exactly. And this is something that, you know, if I recall correctly, the first game, or the only game that IdrA beat MKP as well in Entombed Valley was a 2-Rex again, or at least a single Rex out in the open, and IdrA scouted with a drone as well. And he's just guarding his greed, as you can say. A lot of people open up that IdrA, you know, didn't used to do that, but he does every single time now, and this is a great opening so far. But can he follow it through? Marines are already out, and a drone is going to go down immediately. One gets shot down. And now TaeJa is reinforcing with more and more. IdrA needs to pull drones, and he needs to make sure that this bunker does not complete.
Yeah, IdrA delayed the second barracks a lot. Those are supposed to be 3 Marines already. It's only 2 at this point, which is a huge deal. And the bunker almost gets down, but he manages to keep it alive. Zerglings are in production now, though. 8 are on the way.
Cannot let that bunker complete, Tilo. It is so close to finishing. If that bunker completes, IdrA's in so much trouble. The Lings are so delayed.
I think he's gonna be fine though, because the Lings are out already. He's gonna do a lot of damage to this drone still. Getting 3 drones, no, only 2 drones there, and this looks good for IdrA. I mean, he's down on 2 drones, but he got 2 hatcheries up. There's a lot of Zerglings on the map that are gonna deny additional Marines from attacking now. Unless TaeJa is going to show his trademark micro and just takes all of them out with Soda Step anyways.
And now IdrA in great shape. He's going to pick up a Marine here. Does get 1. It's going to be very difficult to pick up the rest, but he does have a lot of Lings there. 10 Lings versus 4 Marines. It doesn't matter how good TaeJa's controllers be. As long as IdrA can get up there before they enter the ramp, he's going to be good. And he's trying to get that down, and he is going to get us around. Oh, he gets us. Oh, the SCV's coming at the nick of the time there, Tilo. And as you say, defend as TaeJa reaches that ramp, but so far, so good here for EG's IdrA. Of course, had to delay the Queens from coming out due to building the initial 8 Lings, but now IdrA's back in his comfort zone, will continue to work that treadmill, to work that drone production, that drone line, and things are looking good.
Very standard play from TaeJa, adding a 3rd barracks. He knows he's going to have to catch up economy-wise now because he didn't do enough damage. He's going to go for a hard wall. I think he's going to add a 3rd barracks to be safe against any kind of busts. And IdrA trying to take out an SCV, but it's so hard when it's protected by 4 Marines, and it's so easy to overcommit a little bit and lose all those Zerglings for
This
nothing.
is really nice from Tilo. Tilo's not playing in this game, is he? It's, of course, IdrA. Very nice by IdrA, though. Delaying the command center a little bit here and there. Trying to look for a surround on those Marines, and he may get it here. And these 10 Lings are going to try and get all the way around. In great position there by TaeJa. Even moving around where the new ones are going to pop out. But it looks like IdrA does clean up those units. And will try to get an SCV too. Meanwhile, nothing but drone production. IdrA already at 40 drones compared to 22 SCVs. That 3rd command center is going to help out a bunch in actually catching up. But
IdrA actually got supply blocked quite a bit here. He just started the overload when he already was at max supply. Trying to get 2 more Queens, but they have been in the queue for a while. He could be even more ahead now if he wouldn't have made that big mistake. And getting supply blocked is really huge for Zerg.
Remember, guys, this is not the same group as we played before. Previously, it was Group 3, but now we are in Group 4. And, of course, who wouldn't want to watch IdrA versus TaeJa, which is why we are covering it right now. IdrA taking the 3rd base and gases down, too.
Those overlords are looking pretty scary right now. They're trying to get to the cliff, but the Marines aren't taking the right route now. They're going to be able to take both out of 2 of them out, I think. And that's going to supply block IdrA once more.
And that's going to help in the comeback here for TaeJa. Of course, TaeJa playing from behind needs to do something in this game to get back on level pegging with EG's IdrA. And these 2 overload kills is the first of many steps that TaeJa needs to do to, of course, catch up here.
Yeah, and IdrA being really high on minerals too, and that supply block is not going to help. He can't make Zerglings right now, so he can't deal with the Marines, and they're going to take out the hatchery.
If they take out the hatchery, Tilo, now TaeJa will go from behind you actually in the lead. So this is a massive situation right now if that goes down.
He might be fine. He got 4 Lings on the field that I didn't see. The Queen is already on his way, but he's going to damage a lot. And even just damaging the hatchery is going to open up a drop later on in the game where he can just pick it up easily.
And now the Lings do come in at the nick of time, and the hatchery will fall down to 100-ish HP, 130. But like you said, any kind of drop is going to be annoying. Now the Hellions are out, and IdrA is starting to lose his lead. But right now he just has to keep on playing normal. He's got a great economy. He's at 60 drones, has double upgrades on the way for his Zerglings as well. Not quite at speed, so he's going to have to be very careful about the Hellions and the presence on the map. But look at the upgrades of TaeJa. playing from behind. He's actually got a good upgrade timing.
Yeah,
has cut corners where necessary, and is, you know, not too far behind in this game.
Yeah, his upgrades are even a little bit ahead. They're 10 seconds earlier, and that can be huge in a game. If you hit your timing, and even if it's just a 10-second timing, your upgrades are done, and Circling's upgrades are not done, you can take the game, because your units are insanely strong with an upgrade lead of 1-1.
And EG.IdrA now taking all 4 gases on his main and natural. And EG.IdrA is a player that does go Spire once the layer completes, you know, 10 Mulists or so to really punish the Terran player by drops, or even just simply Medivacs and so on moving out. There was an attempt there by TaeJa. Oh, what a great surround! EG.IdrA, actually fantastic surround there, catching every single Hellion that TaeJa attempted to get into the main or natural to do the drone line. But great play there by EG.IdrA, pushing himself a little bit more in the lead again. But as I was saying is, he will go for the Spire, and I'm expecting that to come down, really. He's not a player that rushes to get the Infestors out immediately. So we'll see if that does happen. But 15 drones in production after killing those Hellions.
Speed upgrade, 4 banelings, Spires coming up indeed, but Medivacs are on the production as well now, and the hatchery is still only at 170 hit points. If he gets a drop in there, even if he just target fires it for 2 seconds, it's gonna be gone.
And EG.IdrA actually hasn't got any defense on that third base. There's no spores, there's no spines. I suppose that EG.IdrA should naturally be anticipating a drop there. And look at the minimap, there's no actually overload spreader on the right side either. So he's going to be very late to that. And if he loses that hatchery, again, you know, TaeJa may not be in the lead, but he's certainly back in the game fighting, and that's exactly what TaeJa's looking to do here in this series.
Absolutely, especially if you go Spire, losing that hatchery is a really big deal. With Infestors, you can fight very cost efficiently. If you go Spire, Speedlings, and Speedbanes, you have to have that big army that just crushes the Terran army, but it has to be bigger than your opponents.
And TaeJa now dealing a lot of damage to the creep spread here, nailing the complete left lane, even getting to the right lane as well a little bit there. Great initial push out, and before the Spire is done, TaeJa is going to pick up and get out here as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes, and he does. And that's a great little delaying tactic of the creep, but EG.IdrA should be using those queens immediately to replenish the creep before it does.
Very good play by Craig. He's already replacing it, so he technically didn't lose any creep spread, but a single cooldown. And EG.IdrA already getting a 4th base out. Creep spread is reaching out to that as well. And no drop from TaeJa coming from the right side. I'm really surprised about that. He could have really gotten a free hatchery quite easily.
And with the factory in the air, we're never going to see tanks come into play here, Tilo. He's actually going to be playing a biocentric only style. But look at this, hold on for a second, as the Lings who make their way into the mineral line. Great little counter-attack. And also, oh my god, how many SCVs are going down there? Quite a few go down there for EG.IdrA. 17 SCVs overall in this game, but that must have been a 10 SCV attack, which is well worth it there for EG's EG.IdrA.
And as you were pointing out, he's not going to have any tanks. And Muta play against pure bio is very strong. If you have Speedbanes on creep and the Muta's chasing down Medivacs, it's very hard for Terran to fight that with pure bio, because you can't target fire down banelings with tanks. You're just going to have the most insane spread, which TaeJa is known for, though.
And here we are going to have the attack on the right-hand side here. If TaeJa brings that 4th down, of course he'll be in great position, but EG.IdrA will not allow that to happen as he moves in with his Banes. Great spread initially from TaeJa, and the banelings fall down incredibly fast, and that's where Marines, almost a 2-2, almost, but not quite there, Tilo. It's seconds away, and without that 2-2 upgrade, this attack will get pushed back eventually with the units coming across the map here. 15 Lings. There is no way that TaeJa's going to break that 4th base. And that was a little bit unfortunate. I suppose that TaeJa should have waited an extra 10 seconds there.
I think his attack was really good anyways, because considering how well he microed, he fought really cost efficient. Those last 10 Marines just surviving there. So he wanted to hit the timing with upgrades, but he didn't have the option to do that. Trying to hit again now, but 2-2 is ready for Sir. He's not going to have any upgrade advantage. Taking out both queens, very nice for TaeJa. Gonna scan and take out the creep as well.
And EG.IdrA waiting, baiting around. He knows the units are on creep. He's going to come around from behind here. And you remember, the units can't really evacuate with Mutalists in play. And EG.IdRA's going to go in. Does he have enough buildings? He gets the force around on the Lings. EG.IdrA is going to bring this force down. The Medivacs are being targeted down. The Banelings are doing the damage necessary. And EG.IdrA, with a 40 supply lead, chases this down. The Banelings connecting ever so well. And EG.IdrA, equal upgrades to TaeJa, is pushing him back all the way. And many people may not think that EG.IdrA can go toe-to-toe with a player like TaeJa. He is doing that right here, right now.
Absolutely, it's looking very firm for TaeJa. Bailing's all being moved at the ramp now. The third base is exposed, the natural is exposed. TaeJa kind of has to hug his main now, but there's just too many Zerg units. GG.
EG.IdrA takes game 1 here, a massive victory for EG, and of course EdRA going up against one of the best players here, one of the 7 Koreans here as well. And EdRA looking in great shape here. And, you know, maybe it's true. Maybe EdRA is back to his former glory, as I see in control, walking around with his fists in the air and his shirt coming out, coming off, as he is excited about map number 1 there, TLO.
Yeah, but let's not get too excited yet.
It's a long way to go in a best of 5.
It's a long way to go, and I have to say, that wasn't the best game I've ever seen from TaeJa.
Yes,
he made much more mistakes than he would usually do. He was off to a very bad start.
Yep.
So EdRA controlled the game from the very beginning, and then TaeJa made a couple mistakes here and there. So
if you think about it, dedicating to an 11-11, 2 racks, you're playing from behind the majority of the game there. And, you know, EdRA may be, you know, the inferior player between the two, but he's not a player that will drop an advantage that heavy.
Exactly, that's what he's good at. I mean, unless he kills his own command center with his tanks. Well, and then, I mean, his opponent kills his, and then he just GG's out anyways.
Yeah, and the guys are actually ready to begin right now, and I think we're going to start it immediately here, as they are both ready.
Yeah.
So I suppose we can begin the game, as both of them are saying go, 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 go. And
there's always ego to start.
It's actually bad to annoy the Kraken.
Yeah.
All right? You don't want to annoy the Kraken.
Yeah, TaeJa on the other hand, he seems like such a cool person.
You can annoy TaeJa. You can annoy him. You can flick his nose when he's playing, do anything. He's Korean.
He's very disciplined.
He probably says, "Thank you for is that your you know European culture?" And you know, you could probably fool him.
Yeah, he's a very nice kid.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't know.
Get in the game.
You just keep making racist comments.
Get in the game. It's not racist. All right, so in the game we are now, of course, in the top right. His opponent is, of course, Liquid.TaeJa. There he is, Liquid.TaeJa, the man of the hour, and to his left, actually, look at that. Millennium's 4GG looking on. His opponent, though.
On the bottom is EdRA, spawning as a Zerg in a close position, which he's not going to be that happy about. Obviously, you always want to spawn cross-position on Entomb Valley. We talked about that in the TVP earlier again. It's just not really the biggest distance between each other. You have that path, you can kind of hug with your tanks. There's not going to be much area to surround. And the initial pushes of Terran just come a little bit earlier on this map than they would if it would be diagonal. And TaeJa definitely going to be happy about that. I think I wouldn't be very surprised about seeing a 15cc, and he's already queuing up SCVs, not going to want to make any barracks, and just going for very strong necro dive.
Yeah, I mean, 15cc, the complete opposite, really, of what we saw previously with the double barracks opening. EdRA is going to send out a drone, though, in Toon Valley, a very familiar map where 2 barracks can happen once again. So, of course, doesn't want to fall victim to a double up, which can happen sometimes. In a best of 5 series, a lot of mind games do happen, where, you know, for example, EdRA can go in and say, well, you know, he did it in game 1, is he really going to do it in game number 2? And the answer usually is going to be no, as we're seeing, but sometimes there is that player which will double up and go for the double barracks on game 1 and game 2. So EdRA, of course, is got in cross position with that drone, and he's overall going to see the CC first, and I'm sure that EdRA's going to be quite happy. Do you think that he's going to be looking to grab an early third hatchery here?
You could definitely do that. The rocks are really annoying because it denies you from just protecting your third base with greens that easily, and Hellions can always swing into either base. But look at the drone is already making its way, so he's going to even take a third hatchery before getting a pool.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the best response. Going spawning pool first, you know, opens up potential aggressive options, but EdRA's not that kind of guy. Very rarely would you see him do that, and we are going to have a fist pump here. A little bit unfair, I think, because SCVs can be repaired. That's in a 1v1 fight, you know, you don't want your buddies to come in and help out. That's not fair.
To be fair, 2v1 is always a little bit unfair.
Yeah, so it's actually, you know, depending on which way you look at it, whether the second SCV comes in to help out or whether the second SCV comes to repair or fight himself, either way, it's imba.
It's absolutely imbalanced. SCV is having +5 hit points as well. And
exactly, TLO, oh my god, you are feeling my pain, and it is being broadcasted into everybody right now.
Yeah.
SCV versus Drone is IMBA.
It's absolutely IMBA. I play him David Kim. You should all send angry emails to him.
No, don't do that. We might get in trouble here. All right, so we are having, of course, Barracks into Factory. Pretty regular play, but right now we are going to have the SCV from TaeJa. Ooh, I was going to say check the third base here, and he is going to go in and see that the late spawn core is there anyway.
And he see the drones transferring.
No, the SCVs are blind.
Another thing.
He actually has to go and feel. Usually SCVs have to go and feel.
Is that why it balances out, because it has +5 hit points but doesn't see anything?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Whenever I go to a club, TLO, you're my SCV scout. You go check if that place is full or not.
I do it blindly. I don't know. I don't understand.
I wasn't going with the blind joke there. I was just being regular. Anyway, upon seeing the hatchery come down here, TLO, we are going to have a third command center. A very natural response here.
Getting 3 greens from EG.IdrA. Very, very good. Getting actually a little bit too many circlings for my team. Oh, he wants to take out the rocks as early as possible. It's going to delay his economy quite a bit, though. You have to think about it. Getting 6 links early on like that is going to be a lot of mining time lost.
Yeah.
Could be 2 more drones, only 2 links. And if 2 drones mine for 3 minutes, that's over 300 minerals. That's insane, right?
Insane knowledge bombs by Mr. TLO, Dario Wunsch. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Wunsch?
Wunsch.
Oh yeah,
Wunsch.
oh yeah, I forgot it's a V, isn't it, if it's W, Wunsch. Alright, so the thing we have to keep in consideration for EG.IdrA making that decision is usually he'd be expecting most likely a Hellion Banshee follow-up, and you know, he's gonna just say, alright, well, if that's gonna come, let's clear the rocks up nice and early so I can maneuver between my natural and third a lot easier. Even with the spine coming down, he's anticipating some form of Hellions, he's seen the Hellions as well, but he does know about that third base. It's actually hidden up away.
It's hidden up, and
do you think he can predict TaeJa to have a third base? Do you think that's possible?
I think it's pretty standard, the way TaeJa plays, and EG.IdrA probably looked at replays from TaeJa, knowing that he's going to be in that group.
He has been in the spotlight recently, of course. TaeJa making a big name for himself for the recent victories, of course, the MLG, and also he's been performing so well in the team leagues. Exactly, 16-2 is an insane record to have against the best players in the world. And, you know, that kind of fuels the reason why we say TaeJa's probably one of the best at the moment.
Yeah. EG.IdrA really prepared well for this, though. He already has 5 queens out, he's getting an Evolution Chamber, and he seems untouchable in that sense. He's getting speed now, which is very late. So the 6 Hellions poking in there, they can just kind of go in there and they don't have to be afraid of being surrounded. But with that many queens and spine crawlers out, it's also very hard to do damage. So
exactly. So he's going to have to be very careful. Double engineering bait is the war-off as well from TaeJa, who will be beginning 1-1, and he will have a lead. Very interestingly, we see the second evolution chamber come down. A Spore Crawler has been built anyway through seeing the Banshee, but it is not a Banshee with Cloak.
Yeah.
Of course, not opting to use the gas in the Cloak, he opts to use it in the 1-1 upgrades as we now see coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to get those spores. You can't just be like, I hope he does not cloak and I'm not gonna get spores. But now the Hellions get in. The Zerglings don't have speed yet, and this is great for TaeJa. He's taking out some drones. He's denying mining, and he's gonna force EG.IdrA to even make more Zerglings at the moment. So
and the thing you didn't see is that the Hellions are going to get surrounded, but he also lost the Banshee to just 2 queens, did not control well, and this is not going well here for TaeJa. Of course, map number 1 being behind, only 5 drones killed against this, and losing all the Hellions and a Banshee and potentially second one. If TaeJa doesn't control well here, what is he doing? And he is going to return back, but if you think about that, almost 2 Banshees and a bunch of Hellions for 5 drones?
However, the drone count is not that impressive compared to TaeJa's SCV count. He's only up 3 drones.
That's a good point.
So even though TaeJa lost a few units here and there, his macro on the backhand was just impeccable. He got his 3rd command center that early, he got his 1st command center extremely early, and even though EG.IdrA went for that extremely greedy 3 hatchery build, he still doesn't have a stronger economy.
That's true. He actually doesn't have a macro hatch down either at the moment either to really help power and recover from situations like that. But we actually see the Infestation pick coming down for the first time in this series, unlike the Spire coming down. Of course, the Infestation did come down eventually, but I mean first. And that, of course, will allow the Infestors to come out immediately.
Yeah, it's a good decision because TaeJa is going to have upgrades so early on. The Mutas are just going to face 1-1 Marines, and you don't really want to do that. Definitely Infestors better on this map in general, I think.
I completely agree. I mean, well, I like to say airtight, but
yeah,
it's pretty much that. But right now we are going to have a lot of Lings make their way in here, TLO, but a better position for the Marines, so they really won't be able to do anything.
One upgrades are going to make it impossible for those Zerglings to actually do any damage. Really good creep spread from EG.IdrA out there with his 4 additional Queens.
Yeah.
And just
and TaeJa's just blitzing through everything in terms of upgrades, units, SCVs. His actual timing, which I suppose he'll look to push out eventually with, will be along with the alignment of 2-2 and also the +1 vehicles here. But I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that EG.IdRA's slower upgrades will hurt him here? And does he really have to rely on Fungals to actually deal with that attack?
Absolutely. Fungals and Banelings are your friends if you're down in upgrades, because Banelings, they don't care. If they connect, your units die. Doesn't matter if you're down in attack upgrades. And Infestors obviously are not affected with upgrades either. TaeJa is really going to have a strong push. However, he's going to have that timing because EG.IdRA is already getting a Hive. He's already getting a Spire. And it's only 12:30 in the game. That's extremely early. And that creep spread is really going to have EG.IdRA to gain some more time to defend that push. And then again, TaeJa has been showing to have really good late game control too, but he really wants to attack before those Brutals come out.
Oh, absolutely, and it will be aligned with the 2-2-1, which is probably why it's the strongest push Terran has, because it hits usually before the Hive or the Greatest Spire is up. And now we see him moving out. Of course, he's not looking to jolt across the map because his upgrades aren't ready yet, but at the moment he's pulling EG.IdRA out of position with a drop of the south side.
Yeah.
You know, killing creep in the meanwhile, taking the Zelnogan Tower here as well. So right now, TaeJa's setting up for this push to be aligned up very shortly here. EG.IdRA's morphing 15 Banelings, and like you said, he does not have a straight-up fight that he can win head-to-head. He has to nail the Baneling hits. He has to nail the fungal growth to actually win the war here. And if he doesn't, if we see a spread from TaeJa, if we see the correct tank firing onto the Banelings and Infestors, this could be very difficult here for EG.IdRA. And we're going to have to see how this fights out.
TaeJa being so careful. It's very smart of him to just pull back now. He took out the creep. It's going to recede. And you need to give that creep time to recede.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if you killed it and then just sit on it anyways, because you're going to fight on creep.
And he's going to make his way all the way around to the 4th base too. And he's going to have a great siege up there because the creep is not that deep there past that 4th base.
Oh wow, he's actually getting those morphing creep tumors without a scan. That's a really big deal. And he's going to scan one more time. And he got his 4th base up. He's going to have a great economy himself. He has 2,000 minerals in the bank already. So even if he loses a base, he's going to be able to reproduce for a very long time.
EG.IdRA sees that the army's unsieged. Could this be his moment? Could this be his moment before it actually gets sieged up? He's dealing with the drop initially, which is going to allow the tanks to siege up, and they are sieged, TLO, and they're in good position so far. Creep going to be eliminated here to allow an easy access to that base, but it looks like EG.IdRA, where is he going? Where is EG.IdRA going?
He's actually planning for counterattack, or does he want to swing? He might try to flank.
Oh, he's going to go around. He's going to go around.
He's losing the hatchery, though.
That's pretty big here. And if TaeJa can escape with everything, you know, but oh my God, TLO, is he going to be able to hold on here? EG.IdRA is going to make his movement. The Brutals are being morphed as well, remember. But the loss of that 4th base is going to hurt. If EG.IdRA cannot deal with the army, because right now, if that army goes back, it will defend TaeJa's 4th base of his own. And that's where things get difficult.
Viking production has already started. Those Marines did see the Brutals. He knows 100% for sure now. He doesn't have to get anything to deal with Ultralisk. He just needs to hang on. He's getting a planetary on his 4th. He's already up to 3 starports. So his Viking production is out of control. 3-3 is on its way. While EG.IdRA didn't even start his 3-3 yet. But now he did, just as I said it. But there's going to be a very big window, 2 minutes almost, of upgraded advantage for TaeJa.
And do you think that EG.IdRA did the best decision there? Was it wise to allow the army to escape so easily?
Well, I think he wanted to stop it, but he realized that he just couldn't. It was not really a decision, but like...
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he could have come around from the left side as it was moving unsieged.
Maybe.
But, you know, that's something to think about here.
But then again, he lost his 4th base, so if he loses his army, it's very hard to reproduce compared to a 4th base.
So maybe he didn't want to take the fight, knowing that TaeJa's 4th base was probably up, Apache Fortress up, and wanting to keep those units would make probably more logical sense here. But TLO now with a very strong army still. I said TLO again, didn't I? God damn it. I'm casting next year. I expect you to be playing. I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry to EG.IdRA and all the EG fans. I mean EG.IdRA, of course. But he does have a good amount of Brutals. But as you pointed out, the Vikings are at 13 already, and there's only 6 Corruptors.
Yeah. TaeJa already getting a second armory now, so he's gonna start his air upgrades. And it's all gonna come down to that Viking spread. He can't just clump all of them up because they're gonna die to fungal. There are 3 queens out. They're gonna help a lot against those Vikings with both transfuses and their anti-air attack. But TaeJa just being pretty defensive. His bank is actually out of control. He's reaching 5k now. He's getting 2 more command centers. That is 4. And just being careful. He just wants to push back that creep, really.
Indeed, and we do have that drop in the bottom left, which was spotted by a Ling that was immediately killed by these Marines. Murderers.
Another drop coming in, though.
On the right-hand side of... that's a Viking, actually, sorry.
But, no, on the left is another drop.
Oh, okay, so double drop down there, 2 medivacs. But look at the amount of creeps we're being nailed here, of course, by TaeJa.
But he missed. He kind of just punched a hole in the middle, and now nothing is going to recede. That's like the worst-case scenario for the Terran.
And now he does get rid of it. And now the double drops are going to make their way down, too, right as the queens are there. But there are Spore Coils and Spines on the way, by the looks of it. 3 Spines, should I say. But IdrA's whole army is going to be moved out of position, and what will TaeJa do with this?
I think he's even going to get that. No, the Infestors are already on its way. They're going to take them out, but the hatchery is going to be so low. 3-3 Marines so strong that the hatchery survives with 30 hit points. That's only 4 shots of those Marines, so that's insanely close. And he's going to try to get another drop in there for sure.
And IdrA trying to replenish the creep in the middle, which he's done a decent job of considering the amount that TaeJa's really brought it back. We have +2 carapace and also +1 attack coming down for the Corruptors and Broodlords, which will help out overall. But right now, TaeJa's Viking count is so incredibly scary. But any Terran can make the mistake where they clump them up, they hit by a fungal, and the Corruptors reign over everything here.
I would love to see TaeJa getting more infrastructure at this point. Just add 5 more barracks, get 2 more planetary fortresses. Just having that bank is nice as Terran, but you can't reproduce as quickly anyway, so it's gonna be hard to get rid of your bank after you lose your army. And planetary fortresses just give you a buffer to do that.
And look how many spines and spores he has set down here. Can the units get out in time to kill the hatchery? That's exactly what he's aiming for here. And the Marauders try to fall down. He loses it. IdrA loses the 5th hatchery. Of course, the units die, but what does TaeJa care, as he is basically a millionaire in this game with 8,000 minerals in the bank, 2,500 gas.
TaeJa starting to sacrifice SCVs now, sending him to the middle. And that's so unfair, being an SCV just being pushed towards the mouth of your opponent. You take those, eat them, I don't care. Make them into infested Terrans, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty cruel, especially against Zerg. I imagine them being captured and being turned into drones.
And IdrA is now taking the new bases on the bottom left, throwing away a lot of Lings. Of course, doesn't really need them. It just needs the Broodlords and Corruptors Infestors at this stage of the game.
That's actually very interesting. TaeJa's getting Hellions. Does he have Blue Flame?
I don't think he does yet, does he?
He really needs to make Blue Flame.
Yeah, that would be very smart, actually.
Because that's kind of cool. You can like take out Broodlord.
Do you think that he's going to use the Hellions, and this is probably why he hasn't focused on Blue Flames, that he's going to use them as run-by to see like, oh, you've got an immobile army?
Well, there's no excuse not to make Blue Flame at this point. Looking at his bank, and I think he might just use them to annihilate Broodlings and make a full mech transition.
So if you're going to get high-sec auto-tracking, man, you better get that Blue Flame.
I think he just forgot about it, honestly.
And Hellions are on the right-hand side, 4 Hellions, and they are going to make their way, as well as a decent drop on the left-hand side. So let's see how this is going to pan out here for IdrA. 4 Hellions, though, without Blue Flame. Won't do a lot of... I mean, they actually hold +3, sorry, so they will be doing quite a bit of damage here. And that drop is pretty insane too, but Corruptors are on the way. This could be intercepted massively on this left-hand side.
No, the Corruptors are actually stopping. They could have intercepted that drop there. Now even failing to find them. And he's going to take out both bases.
Yeah, this is a nice drop here by TaeJa. Like we said, can easily replenish this. Blue Flame is on the way, Tilo, but there's that hatchery going to go down, and IdrA will lose another hatchery now, being just abused by the amount of mobility, the amount of speed that TaeJa has. But look at the amount of money that IdrA has in the bank. He can easily play tech switch game here. But I don't think, question me, slap me silly if I'm mistaken, okay, he does. You can slap me. He doesn't have an ultra. He does have an ultra's cavern,
he just made
but
it.
He doesn't have the plating yet, which is pretty big.
It just finished, so I think he's gonna get it. But look at the amount of command centers. He's getting 4 more of them, and TaeJa really needs to start sending all in all of his SCVs. He could have 20 more Vikings, 20 more tanks. at this point of game actually not 20 tanks because they cost 3 supplies, sorry for that, but he could have much more army, that's my point.
Do you think that TaeJa stays on this kind of mid-tier army, Viking, Marine, Bio, and tanks? Does he start to evolve over to Ravens? Does he start to look at battle cruisers potentially here?
It's a little bit weird because he's not even a 200 supply at the moment. His army isn't looking that big. And he's still not getting more planetary fortresses, and he's still not getting more infrastructure.
He's working on double air upgrades, so I think that we are going to see a battlecruiser transition eventually here. I mean, it'd be very rare just to stay on only Vikings. He's researching Cloak as well, so Banshees eventually will come out here, which would be nice, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the use of the Marines and the drops have been absolutely fantastic here for TaeJa, who's worn down his opponent, who's prevented him from mining a lot. But at the end of the day, EG.IdrA still has, you know, almost just the same amount of money in the bank like his opponent.
Yeah. TaeJa is doing a good job of just keeping EG.IdrA from attacking. Wow, that was a lot of Banelings next to the Marauders.
Yeah, that was a little bit sloppy there. But he molds 3 more Broodlords.
Then again, he doesn't really need Banelings anymore because he has no Marines out.
Exactly, that's true actually. He wasted all of them probably there. And now we're looking at 17 Broodlords, 17 Corruptors, and 6 Infestors. Is it possible for EG.IdrA to win with this army?
It definitely is possible. It's not certain. The upgrades are looking good on TaeJa. He's going to have +3, +2 in a little bit. But right now, the upgrades for air are actually favoring EG.IdrA a lot. He's got +3, +2, so he's up each, 1 upgrade each. And there's no Ravens out.
4 Vikings do fall down immediately there to a fungal. Nice snipe, and now the Corruptor count is actually higher than the Broodlord. Vikings.
But we do have +3 Thors out there, and if those Corruptors clamp up, they're gonna do a lot of damage.
And now EG.IdrA landing the assault, spreading out. Corruptors are gonna come in now, and the Vikings are in good position, abusing what EG.IdrA is using himself to keep away from fungal. But now the Infestors are getting exposed a little bit. The Vikings are losing, I think, here to the Corruptors, but Thor shots are going to help out a lot here. EG.IdrA smashing his way through here. Has EG.IdrA molded the best army possible to bring back TaeJa? 14 more Corruptors are coming down as well, but will the Corruptors be there in time? The Vikings are edging out here, TLO, and if the Corruptors go down, all the Broodlords will fall.
All the Broodlords will fall indeed, and the Infestors are all out of energy. They can throw down Infested Terrans now. They're going to be the lifeline. But with those upgrades and no ranged upgrades on the Infested Terrans, it's not going to help a lot even. He's losing all the Broodlords now. But is TaeJa... Well, actually, I'm a little bit confused because EG.IdrA is making Corruptors at this point. I would have imagined him to do a transition into Ultralisk now and kind of crush TaeJa with a Crowned Army.
To be honest, I think that EG.IdrA was feeling very confident with that initial attack there. He was taking the damage, he was dealing the damage. We have a Thor drop as well down in the bottom left, which is absolutely insane. But I think that EG.IdrA was like, right, well, if I just build more Corruptors, my Broodlords will live forever. Yeah. But that was not the case. They did eventually fall, and then the tech switch is coming over. But is it going to be strong enough now? With that Thor in the bottom left, EG.IdRA's going to lose another mining base. EG.IdrA does not have that much of an income at this stage of the game. Look at the resources now in the top right. Everybody is poor again in this game.
Well, everybody is poor, but TaeJa does have, I don't know how many mules in the bank. He's just not throwing them down right now. If he just puts those mules down, he's going to be rich in a second again.
Indeed he is, and the Vikings and Marines going to town on the Corruptors and more Broodlords here, and it looks like TaeJa is going to rip every unit out of the sky and will be able to maintain his, of course, income. And at the same time, Marines are now on the natural here for EG.IdrA, get annihilated by Banelings. But the tech switch has been revealed. The Thor actually brought down that hatchery in the bottom left. And that's pretty big here for EG.IdrA in the income tab. He's not really mining. He does have that new base set up in the middle right, and of course still has the 6 o'clock, which has a decent amount.
Oh my god, now the mules are dropping down. 25 mules on the top left base.
Alright, nobody look at the income tab. Nobody.
Nobody
look. AdrA, don't you dare. Don't you look, AdrA. It's going to be insane. Oh my god. AdrA, you look. Alright, so the Banelings are now being morphed. That's a lot of income. Oh my god, just spiked at 4,000. Oh my god. And EMP's going down, but EG.IdrA has a decent sized army here once again. But the spread is pretty good. But look at the lack of medivacs here, TLO. There is not a lot healing these units. Is EG.IdrA going to be able to crack his way through? Banelings are being morphed. Vikings are being landed, and that is never a good sign here. Has EG.IdrA been able to crack through? The amount of income available, the amount of units that are coming out of the barracks is insane. 4,000 resources being brought in per minute here for TaeJa.
The 2 Thors with medivac support now are gonna play a huge role. He can just micro those forever. He gets fungal, but the they don't have enough energy to actually take out the medivacs.
Oh my god, look at the bank right now of TaeJa. It's just shot up insane. 4,000 minerals per minute is insane. That's so much money available when those mules are down. EG.IdrA has to keep these units alive. EG.IdrA does not have the same amount of income as TaeJa, but EG.IdRA's breaking through. Infestors are going to be the key. If he can keep them alive consistently and use their energy as money, as a resource of his own, then he's going to be able to do fine with 4 more infestors on the way as well. And EG.IdrA, oh, look at the infestors on the right-hand side, caught out of position, and that is a big, big mistake there from EG.IdrA, who loses infestors for nothing, and that is exactly the opposite of what I just said, and EG.IdrA now is on the back foot. He didn't break those expansions at the top left, though.
Supplies are pretty close at the moment. TaeJa is ahead 26, but he has 30 less workers, so in reality his army is much bigger than EG.IdRA's.
And this is pretty crazy right now, the attack going down, and GG called by EG.IdrA, who didn't quite have enough to continue through against the amazing, the unbeatable economy of one very young Korean player who seems to be on a roll and definitely showed his true colors in that game.
I'm gonna say it here now. If he would have made Ultralist instead of those 15 Corruptors after he lost his Food Lords, EG.IdrA wins the game.
I think you read the fight wrong.
Yeah, I think
you
so
read
too.
the fight wrong.
He just thought he could resupply in time, but Corruptors getting all the way across the map.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That's pretty big.
And there was a point in which TaeJa literally had no ground army. There were Vikings out killing Food Lords and a bunch of Marines, but if he goes Ultralist, Baneling, I don't think TaeJa could have held.
Alright guys, so before we do get into the next map, of course, which is going to be Atlantis Spaceship, going to be a great map between these two guys. We are going to run to a very quick break here to give these guys a few minutes, so stay tuned. Of course, this is day 1 of the ASUS Republic of Gamers. Don't go anywhere.